If your idea of tracking time off still revolves around post-it notes, an outdated spreadsheet, or having to dig through old emails, you're not alone, but it's costing you more than you think. Every small company eventually hits that wall, where asking who's off next week turns into a daily mystery. You'll suddenly start having PTO requests slipping through cracks, workload balances now being unbalanced, or having a key team member leave on vacation unexpectedly when you needed them to deliver a big project milestone, all of which contributes to your bottom line. Now, a lot of teams think that they're too small for a time off management solution, but in reality, had they adopted one sooner, it would have saved them a lot of time and a lot of money. So in this video, we're going to be taking a closer look at the most common ways to track employee time off, including what to expect depending on the size of your organization and what to look out for when shopping for a solution. By the end of it, you'll feel confident and know what to use given your organizational size. So to start, why don't we start where every company tends to begin, and that is the humble but mighty spreadsheet. Now look, I'm a big fan of spreadsheets as the next person, but even I can see their shortcomings. While they're great to get started for things like project management or basic reporting, or in this case, time off management, cracks quickly begin to form when you have more team members that join the organization. Having to do manual updates constantly, losing data because someone else is in the spreadsheet, or forgetting when was the last time it was modified, all make things super hectic and super complicated. Plus, keeping track of who asked who and how much time off someone has becomes a mess when you start to deal with 20 and 30 employees versus 5 or 10. Let's not forget that it's missing a key feature when it comes to time off management solutions: visibility. There's no easy way to notify someone when they're off, and sure, while you can create a mock calendar inside the Excel spreadsheet, it's not going to always be up to date. While it can be affordable to get started with a spreadsheet, by the end of it, you're going to be noticing that you're going to be paying for it with your time. I like to think of a spreadsheet kind of like training wheels on a bike. Of course, you're great to get started and you need to learn somehow, but at a certain point, it's time to take the training wheels off. So what happens when teams outgrow spreadsheets? Well, this is where they start to swing too far the other way and invest in a full HR solution. Now, big HR software can be pretty powerful stuff, but at the same time, can be also very costly financially because you end up paying for a lot of extra modules that you might not need at this current point. Things like employee recognition, benefits, payroll, and the list goes on and on and on. Because these solutions are so complex, setup is also very heavy and can require weeks of onboarding for the administrator and then even weeks of onboarding for the employees so they can feel comfortable using it. You know that it's a problem when a tool in itself needs a training session for each new employee that comes on board. Now, for larger companies, this isn't a problem as you probably need most of these modules anyways. But when you're in that smaller to medium-sized company and you don't need these modules, that's when things become overwhelming or overbearing. Okay, so if spreadsheets are too basic, error-prone, and something that you'll probably quickly outgrow, but then HR solutions are too bulky, expensive, and complex, what's a good middle ground? Well, this is where simple, lightweight, automated tools really shine. It should come as no surprise that in a digital age, there's a tool for everything. So of course, there are tools that specialize in tracking and managing time off. These tools really shine because they're simple to use, easy to set up, and integrate directly into your workflows. Whether you communicate primarily by Slack, Teams, or even just email, there is bound to be a tool that'll slot in right nicely to that workflow. What's great is that a lot of these tools, because they focus primarily on time off management, they know what features you need. So going back to what I mentioned earlier about visibility, these tools tend to provide notifications or calendar syncs so you can always be in the know about who's off or who's about to be off. A lot of these tools also support multiple types of policies. So if you're worried about having something that can accommodate accruals, rollovers, or even compensation time, then these tools tend to be able to handle it. These tools tend to have no steep learning curve and are actually quick to set up. So much so that if you're competent enough, you can do it by yourself without any sort of help from their support teams. I like to think of these tools as almost an autopilot for your paid time off. You can let go of the controls at any time and just know that it'll constantly guide everything else in the background. Okay, now that we have a shared understanding of how to track employee time off, how do you choose the right system for your organization? Well, to make things easy, I broke it down to 4 simple steps. Step 1 is to evaluate internally your team size and of course your workflows. What tools are you using to communicate to one another? Are you a team that's rapidly growing and need a tool to grow with you, or do you foresee yourself using this tool for a few years? These are all questions to ask yourself early on before you start looking at options. Step 2 is to define your leave policies. Perhaps you already have leave policies in place, or maybe you're looking to switch things things up. Regardless of which path you're choosing, it's important to know what your leave policies are, as that'll help determine which solution will fit you, especially if there are solutions out there that don't have accommodations for your current leave policy. Step 3 is to decide on your manual work tolerance. Not all of these tools are created equal. Some require more manual intervention, while other things are more automated. These days, companies tend to focus more on the automation and increasing productivity, but perhaps the budget's not there to have something so advanced. This is a conversation you may need to have with other team members depending on who's involved in the buying process. The last and final step, step 4, is to actually try these tools out for yourself. A spreadsheet should be a given, and you probably have access to those already, but for these specialized solutions, a lot of them do have free trials or even free plans, so you can see in action with your data or some dummy data how they function. For HR solutions, I know a few of them do have free plans, but most of them do require you to go through the demo process, so you can also do that and see a demonstration of the product before making any sort of decision. Following all of these 4 steps will help you come up with a short list of different options that might fit your organization, and it's just a matter of going through each one to see truly what is the best fit. Now, I'm not one for shortcuts, but if you want to get through this process a little bit quicker, here are some good rules of thumb to keep in mind. If you're a rather small company, probably stick to something that's more lightweight and focuses more on visibility rather than these fancy features. If you're a company that's maybe a bit bigger or growing, then maybe focus on something that does meet those features that you need and focus more on automation, as productivity is going to be the name of the game here. And of course, if you're a very large enterprise, then probably sticking to an HRS makes the most sense for you. What's important here is that you don't overspend. Try to focus on what is the biggest pain points for you currently and try to find a solution that solves those pain points. And like I mentioned earlier, because a lot of these have free trials or free plans, you can test these out very quickly and see right away whether or not it's going to be a right fit. And hey, if you want to skip the guesswork entirely and just want the best solution that fits most scenarios, then look no further than Vacation Tracker. Vacation Tracker was purpose-built to handle time off management and all the complexities that come with it. It works on Slack, Teams, email, and even on mobile. So no matter how you communicate to your team members, there's a way to use it, including a very nice online dashboard that'll keep things organized and present things in a visually pleasing manner. It has all the bells and whistles and all the automations, so you can rest assured that whatever your leave policy is, there is a way to automate it. Listen, at the end of the day, the best solution to tracking your employee time off isn't always about features or pricing, but rather it's the solution that gets you to stop thinking about it. If you notice that your managers are spending less time on approvals, your employees are bothering you less about who's off and when, and your payroll calculations line up to your PTO calculations, then you know you found the right fit. Because tracking time off shouldn't feel like work. The solution you implement should give you peace of mind, provide clear visibility and transparency, and actually get your employees to take their time off so they're well rested and more productive. And speaking of your team, the next thing you're probably going to want to tackle is your company leave policy, because even the best employee time off tracking tool can help you fix a broken leave policy that's unclear or unfair. So in this video right here, I walk you through the steps on how you can create the perfect leave policy for your organization, including how to ensure you're always compliant, how to ensure your policy matches your company culture, and of course, how to ensure your employees are actually happy about it. So hopefully I'll catch you in that video.